My essential question going forth with this assignment was this. As educators, how do the relationships we cultivate with students affect student motivation to learn? First, what does the research say? Students who perceive teachers as supportive are less likely to be bullied or suffer from mental health disorders. These students are also more likely to seek help when needed and report greater overall life satisfaction. Furthermore, meta-analysis suggests teachers have a greater social impact on student motivation and learning than either peers, parents, or general classroom environment. Students who feel disconnected or distant from educators respond primarily to extrinsic motivation. However, a gender gap exists between teacher relationships and motivation. Girls tend to respond more to teacher support and become more easily intrinsically motivated. Can a single teacher make a difference? Having one relationship with a teacher they like increases students' intrinsic motivation and ability to self-regulate, even in the absence of close relationships to other teachers. Now, let's hear from the experts I know personally. How important do you think motivation is to students in the learning process?
God, it's probably the number one. If a student isn't motivated, you're going to get those. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to uh, learn in your class. They're not going to remember it. They're not going to be able to pass whatever test you give. Uh, it's just they're not going to get it. That acting degree I got probably helped me more in my classroom than I ever imagined it would, because I am an introvert, but when I stepped in front of that class, it was like stepping on stage. And you're not entertaining. We are not hired to be entertainers, but you can show your enthusiasm for the subject, and actually you have to almost be a little bigger, you know, to kind of wake them up and pull them in, get them motivated, say, oh, wow, okay. Or you open it with something that catches their attention, so that they do have that motivation. They go, wow, okay, that sounds interesting, or whatever. Motivation is number one. If you don't have that, they're not going to learn.
Well, I think it's pivotal. Learning can't exist virtually without the motivation. There's that old Buddhist saying, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives, and you can be a brilliant, teacher delivering brilliant curriculum, and no learning is occurring because the student isn't present.
Do you think that having a strong relationship with students can help them to be motivated to learn in your classroom?
And that's the other key there, is you do have to have a relationship with them. You have to care about them. If you meet them at the door and say, hi, how you doing? How was your day? Or even a little compliment like, wow, that's a nice blouse. I like that. Oh, Jimmy, you got a new haircut. You start making those connections, and the more connections you have, the better those students will be motivated to learn from you. And you definitely, they become part of your life. That's why you talk to teachers, and they'll tell you, these are my kids. These are my kids, and you raised them for a year. And it's you have to, without that connection, and I've seen it. If you don't have that connection, they are not motivated, and you lose them, and they don't learn. And I have seen that firsthand with teachers.
But I think it's complicated. I think you've got to have a fundamental caring toward each student in the class, number one. And then building relationships is extremely critical. However, I think I'd be dishonest to, say a lot of platitudes about, You have to build relationships with each of your students and know their interests and know what they did this weekend and stand at the door and ask them what they did and blah, blah, blah. And act as though that's the answer to everything, because I don't think it is. First reason it's not the answer to everything is because you'll literally drive yourself insane trying to build a meaningful relationship with 150 kids. I've done it. It's the gone crazy part, not achieved it. And it's not possible. And if you have a codependent streak in you like myself, it can really be a fatal part of your mental, general health or within the profession, because it will just sink you. But I will tell you, you could do all of those things and then some, and still have kids, checking out. And furthermore, it might agitate them even more because you changed it up, and it's a real annoyance to shift. And how do I shut down in this environment? Because they're used to by and large, they're used to a more passive learning environment where they can just, check out and be left alone. So just because you bring them wonderful learning environment doesn't mean they're going to respond in kind, especially, on the timeline that we would like.
There is definitely a change between freshman and senior. Freshmen come in and they're still kind of in that 8th grade mode. 8th grade doesn't count. You don't have to have those credits to get that diploma. And there's that attitude. And they become sophomores, and and you actually can see the change. When you run into those sophomores, a huge growth spurt has happened over the summer on the majority for most of them. There is a personality change, a more maturity, but they're still kind of haven't quite got it. A lot of them that, I can't blow off all my classes like I did last year.
Mm-hmm.
You get a junior, and all of a sudden it starts dawning on them. They're starting to look at their transcripts and saying, "Oh my goodness, I got to get going here. Maybe I should take summer courses or something." They start realizing that. And I'll tell you what, when that senior year comes and they're sitting there and saying, "Oh my God, how do I pick up, 2 more extra credits? I kind of didn't do it right when I was a freshman, and now I need it." And they're in panic mode. I have had experience in the last 4 years of a teacher that came in and was extremely loose in his discipline. And he could never get control of the class again. Okay, so that was one. You have to go in and you have to be pretty firm at first, not punishing firm, but firm on your rules. Make them clear. In fact, practice them. Spend that first week practicing things. And as they are very well disciplined, you can kind of ease up and have a little bit looser a classroom. Okay? And then if they start taking advantage of it, because they've already been there where the rules were pretty strict and they practiced it, you can go, "Oh, we're forgetting the rules. Let's go back and practice them again." Okay, and you can haul them back in to where they're behaving. But if you're too loose at the beginning, you'll never be able to haul them back. Never. On the other hand, I've had a teacher that came in so strong and so strict. "You will sit in your desk. I'm going to stand up here and lecture to you, and you're going to take notes." That's it. And he lost them. They didn't pay attention to him. They didn't take notes. They rebelled, and he couldn't get them back. So it's that fine line. You've got to be their friend, but you got to follow the rules. And the teachers that are involved in teaching, those teachers that love what they're doing and they're invested in it, and they create that relationship, you can change some students' attitudes. Um, you can make them something they weren't before. We have the ability to do that. You got to show them you care, win their trust.
Insert music here.